so welcome back. We've got the Gambler Camry project going on, and today we're going to start tackling the rear suspension. It's not going to be as easy as the front, where we could just buy a stock item and shove it in there. This, we're going to try to modify the stock strut, and we're just going to do that with the original old one, just because we don't want to mess things up. So, stay tuned for that, but before I do that, I'm going to rip out a couple of bolts in that front bumper cover, get that thing off there so I know what I have to work with designing a front bumper. So, after I get that yanked out, we'll come back here and take a look. Alright, so the bumper cover came off. The big hurdles was getting to the screw that was behind the splash pad. There are these two hooks that hooked up here on the top underneath the headlight, and then the screws that were on the bottom side of the bumper here. Those were some slightly less than enjoyable spots, but we got this thing off. It has kind of seen some better days, but I'll throw it in the upstock area over here, and we can take a look at what else we have. All right, well, it might be hard to see, but we got that whole front bumper off. We even got the metal section, since it's a bolt-on, so that's going to come in real handy. We'll be able to make up a couple brackets so we can actually go and bolt a whole different, kind of more off-road bumper on there. So yeah, that should be pretty nice. I'm going to take a couple pictures and get to the drawing board there. We'll have to do something, probably remove that guy. That's just something for the air intake piece. Then we'll have to find something to do with a windshield washer thing. Thinking we could even, maybe we can mount the windshield washer bucket in the trunk. Maybe we can find an even bigger bucket so we have plenty of windshield washer fluid. But that's for a later project. Now let's get back to the rear struts and how we're going to lengthen them out. Alright, so I got the rear struts out. That was a job and a half. These guys did not work worth a darn, and you also had to tear apart the entire interior. So it's like you had to pull this corner cushion out, and then you had to pull this plastic piece there. Then there's a plastic piece here. And then you had to also pull out the trunk piece before you could get to that plastic piece, just to get to these 3 bolts up here. So, that was less than enjoyable. But now that I got all that stuff yanked out, I'm probably going to leave it pulled out so I can run a couple wires back there for fun. But anyways, here are our struts again. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to extend this mounting point. We're going to have to come down probably 1.5 inches. We might go full 2 inches, just for good measure. It won't really matter if it sticks up a little bit in the back. Now it will allow us to throw some equipment back there and not bottom out the thing. But I think first we gotta clean it up a little bit. Grab the little bit bigger brush wheel. Of course, some safety glasses. Alright, well these are super crusty. I'm pretty sure I should just buy some new ones. Like it's getting rust behind these plates, and it's actually bulging the bracketry. This one's a lot worse than that one. but it's pretty well trashed. Anyways, I suppose we could probably still work on making some brackets for it. Alright, so I gave it some thought, and although I really should get new ones, I think I should really just grab the grinder, see what I can make work here, and if it doesn't work so well, then we can try a different route. But this will obviously be the absolute cheapest. So, I'm gonna grab the grinder, hit a couple of these things that I know will get in the way, and then we'll see what we have afterwards. Alright, so after quite a few hours of modifying and messing around with stuff, here are the brackets we got rigged up. So, what this is going to allow us to do, this is going to just be how this is. There you can see there's a spacer in there to make sure that it can't collapse too far. And then this is where our new location for our knuckle will hit. We've got these spacers rigged up, and I'm essentially just going to come through and zap in here with some weld. They should stiffen that up quite a bit. Then we can just jam this thing in there and we'll pretty much be set. So, I've got another set made for the other side, and all they'll have to do there is drill at this lower point where this one's at, and then attach the brackets on, and we'll be golden. I'm pretty satisfied with it so far. So I'm gonna head on over to the welder and zap this thing together. Alright, so it's not super pretty, but I believe it should hold. And if not, well, we're not really out anything. So, I guess I'm gonna jam this thing back up in there. And we'll see how everything works. Alright, so we are down and in, and you can see we got ourselves a bunch more clearance. So, what we got, as you can see in there, we've got a lot more clearance between the tire and the bottom of the spring bucket. So we are not doing too bad. What we could use is we could use it to come back a little bit because we're getting kind of close there. So we'll have to look into what we can do with this bar here. Thinking we can probably just pull it out and lengthen it. I don't know about anyone else. That's looking pretty good. We've got just enough. So hopefully we can get the wheels in and go from there. Now the downside with doing this the way we did here is we have a couple pieces that's touching the inside of the rim, but that's not going to be an issue because we're going to a 15-inch from a 14-inch, and most likely it's also going to be a little bit pushed out further that way. So that's not too bad for a day's work here. We'll have to probably do some slight adjustments to it so we can get some camber in it or out of it and go from there. So, I guess, thanks for stopping by and watching this disaster take place. And next time, hopefully either our wheels will show up or we'll look at seeing what we can do to the rear bumper to make it so if somebody smashes in the back of us, we survive. Anyways, that's going to be enough for here. We'll have to catch you again later.